steak, we could eat you if we wanted to. Like if we were stranded on a desert island, we could have Carmen steaks if we wanted to. I think that would be the opinion of everybody here. I think Austin has the same opinion. He would not like to be the first person eaten. Wendy does not want to be the first person eaten. And Lance, I say we eat Lance. Really? Have we missed him today? See? Give or take. So he's meeting with Dr. Ken Clark. Hopefully that's going on. But basically what happens with this is you apply that suction. It sucks a chunk of your skeletal muscle into that needle, and then what you do is you slide that sharp component down and it slices your skeletal muscle off, okay? And you get a chunk of it right here that we can now take and analyze it for the biochemical and contractile properties that we talked about over here, okay? So nobody is willing to do the muscle biopsy in here. Where do they do muscle biopsies? Anybody know? Doctor's office. I've never had it done. I don't know who does it, but I know. I shouldn't say I know who does it, but they can do it at the IM.
That study they're doing at Presbyterian Health with Sarah Bailey.
Yeah, they're doing muscle biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the Institute for Exercise and Biomedical Medicine. Okay. So and Noah says a good thing is a doctor does it. So there's other things inside of there, isn't there? When you just start jabbing a needle blindly into that, like what? Nerves, blood vessels, maybe depending where you're at, tendons or things like that. So you want an experienced physician to do that as opposed to you guys. So that's why we don't do muscle biopsies down in the lab, because you guys don't know what you're doing and you do that. Now, this one is a punch biopsy where you're just using one hole, but you can also do this where you actually expose the skin. You can open the skin up and then do the biopsy so that you visually can see where structurally things are. But that one's even more invasive. A lot of times those are done in neurological offices if you have some mitochondrial diseases or things like that. They can also do those at the IM. Okay? Yeah, so that you just open it up and you can see what's going on there. Here's again, you can see that, but this is again a little picture of the, they call it a circular guillotine. I don't think most people want to have a needle inserted in there and say, we're going to have the guillotine do that, because that's associated with cutting the muscle fibers. But you can see, you get a nice bundle of muscle fibers from that procedure that then you can take and analyze it histologically. And so if you were to look at the specifically panel C, which is the unstained muscle fiber, they all look the same. If you were to look at that, you'd have a hard time distinguishing differences between type 1 fibers and type 2 fibers. So in this picture, we're talking about type 2A fibers, and then you can see that there's other muscle fibers in there like 2B and 2C. We're only going to talk about the 2A and 2C, and the difference between those is that where the 2As and 2Bs are going to be we're going to talk about 2X, but there's more classifications. And again, it goes on. If we want to overwhelm you with skeletal muscle fiber typing, we can do it. But we're going to stick with a general nomenclature: type 1, type 2A, type 2X. But you'll see that if you stain them for different pHs, you can see that they have different now color characteristics based upon their myosin ATPase and their mitochondrial content. You can see that there will be different staining procedures that you can look at to identify which fibers are there in a skeletal muscle. Now, will you have all slow twitch in a muscle? No. Well, you will have muscles that are predominantly slow twitch, which will have a lot more slow twitch fibers compared to other muscles in there. Okay? So you can look at that in the soleus and the gastroc. The soleus is predominantly slow twitch, and the gastroc has predominantly fast twitch. You can look at those different characteristics. Okay? I don't want to show that one. So now here we have the comparison between twitch and fatigue between fiber types. Now we've talked about twitch. We've seen that. If you stimulate the fiber, you get a certain amount of force production with one stimulus. That was the twitch that we saw. Now we're talking about in relationship to these fiber types. So on the left, we're going to start with the fast twitch, high force, fast fatigue fibers, which are the 2X fibers, okay? And then we'll move to the type 2A fibers, and then we'll ultimately end up with type 1 or slow twitch fiber, okay? So let's take a look at these from a twitch. As you would expect, the fast twitch, high force, fast fatigue fibers, the 2X ones, they produce a high force production, 50 grams of force here when you stimulate a twitch. And what's the thing that you notice up at fatigue? They fatigue rather quickly, okay? You can see they stay pretty high for a short period of time, but about 3 minutes, they're done, okay? Based upon their biochemical properties, they can only last for a short period of time. But when they are going, you can produce high amounts of force. Now, if we go over to the 2A, fast twitch, moderate force, fatigue resistance fibers, okay, what do you notice? Produce 20 grams of force, which is less than the type 2X one, so, but they do still produce quite a bit of force. And now let's look at the fatigue curves, okay? As the force goes down, you can see that they can last a little longer. They're even contracting at about 60 minutes, okay? So they're producing a small amount of force, but they're still able to produce force even at 60 minutes of time, okay? But they are going to fatigue at a faster rate here compared to the slow twitch fibers, okay? You can see there, even despite the fact that the 3 minutes, these ones over here, the fast twitch ones, were completely down to 0. At 3 minutes here, we're still producing quite a bit of force right there, okay? It's not a good color picture there. Let's change our pen. So at 3 minutes, you can see we're still producing quite a bit of force there, okay? And again, out here at 60, we're still producing some force. Now, if we go to our type 1, or our slow twitch fibers, low force, fatigue resistance. So you can see when we give them a twitch, force is only what? About 5 grams of force compared to what were we at here? 50? But look at this. What do you notice about that? Even 60 minutes out, you're still producing 5 grams of force, okay? So they can go for a long period of time, and that's good, okay? And so, if we were running a marathon, which ones would we predominantly be using? You know, we're probably going to be out here for more endurance exercise, excuse me. And then in our sprinting or short-term exercises, we're probably going to be here in our fast twitch fibers, okay? So, what are you? Are you a sprinter or are you an endurance athlete? Hannah, what do you think you are? A little bit of both in here. Soccer, you have to sprint, but you also have to be able to do for an hour. You have to be endurance-wise, right? 45-minute halves, is that correct? That you're constantly moving and then asked to sprint at specific times to score goals, things like that. Unless you're Ronaldo, who doesn't play a lot of defense, doesn't get back much, does he? Saving his energy so that he can sprint to goals. Austin, where do you think you're at? Are you a sprint guy, endurance guy?
Like in between 2A and 2X.
Okay, so you're more of a sprint guy, you think? Not the fastest guy on the planet, but not the slowest guy on the planet? Okay. Carmen, where do you think you're at? No, you're not undecided. You're either one of the other. Someone has decided for you. You're all three. Which one do you think you are predominant? Are you a better sprinter or a better endurance runner? I don't think you have any of these muscle fibers, so thank you for playing. Genetic anomaly. Wendy, where do you think you're at? Sprint or endurance?
Neither.
You can't be neither. So if you had to choose one, which do you think you were?
When I was athletic, sprint.
When you were athletic, what do you think you were?
I was better at sprint, but I kind of went both ways.
Okay. So better at sprint, so you may be predominantly more fast twitch. No?
Depends on how, I guess, you train.
Are you an elite cross-country runner or are you a elite sprinter?
Definitely not an endurance guy.
Okay, there you go. See, you got, if I say it that way, you guys, are you the 5K guy or are you the guy that sprints better? So Austin's a sprinter. Carmen, are you the better 5K person or are you the better sprinter? And we're talking about winning here. Now, everybody can do it. You're the,
Actually, no,
Well, I could improve more on a
Yeah.
5K than I could on a sprint, but I'm definitely not an endurance.
yeah, so that difference is that you're maximizing your potential here. Sure, we could get you trained over here, but are you gonna be an elite endurance guy?
No, I wouldn't say 5K is endurance.
Let's go 10K. Trust me, you know what you are. You're either slow twitch or fast twitch. Austin is the only guy that knows I'm fast twitch. I know that. So, I'm also fast twitch too. So I was never an endurance guy. That's probably why Jackson Davis is fast. So Jackson Davis is the fastest kid on his baseball team right now. He's 6'2", 210. So that's pretty big to be the fastest guy in the baseball team. It's nothing to do with this
What's
much.
his 40?
I don't know what his 40 is, but we could, because he doesn't run 40s. In baseball, they run 60s. And so in baseball, he has been clocked at 6'3", 60s. And so the limit, you can be a major league outfielder if you have a 6.6 or lower speed-wise. And so he is exceptionally fast. The problem is he's a top-end guy. So his first 10, not so good, but he will flash you on the backside of this. So we're almost done. Let's take a look at this. We'll leave that off there, but I want to show you guys the look. So because it's impressive. It's just, I want Carmen to understand exactly what she's up against. And I know you guys are coming to see me anyway. So you have nowhere to go. You just want me to stop talking, maybe. We can talk forever. You know that, don't you? Well, we could stay here for days. No food, no water, and just talk about physiology. How exciting would that be?
Yeah, a lot of tactical muscles in there as well.
Just keep writing and writing. Who has to go to class right now? See? Exactly. You guys don't. You know what I absolutely hate with a passion? PCs. I would just as soon kick the PC in the head.
Firefox guy.
I don't like Explorer. What are you? Oh, you got something against Firefox?
Well, I used to use Safari, but I would go Chrome over Firefox.
Was everybody gonna guess jelly beans today?
I already did.
All ABSM majors, you can win a $50 gift card if you go guess the jelly bean jar that's like right on the hall here.
Oh, what?
Jelly
Gift card to
Wait,
where?
it's upstairs, isn't it?
Is it upstairs? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Right-
office.
right above here.
Wait, majors?
Oh, have you?
Have you heard of this website called YouTube? You can post videos to it.
Yeah, you sure can.
The internet is a fascinating place, don't you think?
By the time you got there, old Pokerface was wearing an
Plus,
uncharacteristic
I like
hanging on at the
anything
back.
you say in the Queen's English sounds like you're smart. So if you guys want to act smarter, speak like you're from British. Or can you do that in Nova Scotia? Do they have an accent that sounds different than ours? Is it A? Do you add A to everything? That makes you actually sound worse though. How's it going here, E? Okay, here they come.
They knew that Armstrong was strong in the mountains and put two big climbers
Ah.
alongside him. I don't believe I'm seeing this. Armstrong has been at the back for the whole day, and Ulrich is in difficulty now.
Well, I don't think Ulrich believes it either. Armstrong has given everybody, and maybe that was the plan, to give everybody the impression he was in trouble. And now Rubio's a big move. He has launched the attack.
First time today,
Okay,
he's
ready?
comfortable. He's come into his terrain.
So,
Vinokourov-
first of all, Jan Ulrich is the #2 guy in the Tour de France. He's very gifted physiologically.
Dropping like flies. This is where you have to race alone, and Armstrong's gone.
A big move by Lances, and no reply coming at all from the
No reply coming from Jan Ulrich. You're Jan Ulrich, Harlan.
So Armstrong has been holding everything under those legs for the last
He's playing possum. Armstrong is.
He wants to.
Yeah, we're gonna show it here in a minute.
that.
Here it is. Now watch. He looks back at Jan Ulrich and goes, dude, I know you can't go. So here we go. Giddy up. Now watch Jan Ulrich.
Gives a
Right there.
head
Oh!
head down.
Head down, Carmen. Lance Armstrong looks back at Jan Ulrich and says, dude, I'm about to put the hammer down. You coming or not? Now, Armstrong will deny this, but you can see it clearly. He is looking at him. Austin's looking at you, Carmen, across the thing going, let's do this. Let's go. Are you coming with me, or are you going to defeat? He looks at him for a little bit, looks at him, and then puts the hammer down. Carmen, this is you. I can't go any farther. So that is the look. That is what Austin did to you. Is Jan Ulrich worse physiologically than Lance Armstrong? Probably not. They're probably pretty equal. They're both doping.